Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Beast! I'm YouTube famous now. All right, let's get right into this video because I have a lot to say about this. And I've done a lot of videos now about Jacqueline Hill and John Hill, and if you're here to hear me dissect the relationship, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of just talk about the facts that are out there, and then I'm going to kind of use some of my own personal experience, things I've learned in life, and I will tell you that I have somewhat of an investment in this because John Hill is also in recovery, and I myself am also in recovery. I've been sober for 23 and a half years, and I actively work a 12-step program. So it's interesting to me that on some level, addiction comes into this story, and it does, and it has. And John has even put that out there himself. So I want to talk a little bit about all of that because I do think that relationships with people that are in recovery, or when you're in recovery and you're in a relationship with somebody that's not, can be difficult. And it's not just about, you know, the drinking or whatever. It can also be about just the language that two people speak differently. It would be very much like if somebody was from France and somebody was from the United States and they were trying to speak, but they, you know, each spoke in their own native tongue. Well, when you're in a relationship with somebody in recovery, it's hard because they speak a lot of times the language of recovery if they're working a 12-step program. So if you don't know what happened, 2 days ago, John Hill, Jacqueline Hill's ex, posted a video on his Instagram where he is in, it looks like a backseat of a car or something, and he is with this mysterious young lady. And he didn't tag her in the video. A lot of people are like, why didn't you tag her? We're gonna get to that in just a second. But anyway, right underneath it, Jacqueline Hill put a comment, he made a comment, and then she commented back, basically saying that she was okay with this, that he's moving on, that we're friends. And the whole internet is going crazy. Why? Because this is on the heels of just like, 3 weeks ago, I think it was, that Jacqueline Hill did a video, a life update video, talking about they're getting divorced. And so a lot of people are saying this is way, way too soon. I often put my opinion in videos, okay? But when it comes to things like this, I sometimes don't. But I'm gonna say this in this one time, okay? This is some tacky shit. And I believe that everybody has the right to move on. I believe everybody has the right to leave relationships and find new people and all that kind of stuff. And I'm gonna talk about that in a second, okay? But there's a way of doing it with class, and there's a way of doing it kind of hurtfully. And I think on the heels of her having just posted this video, I don't think it was necessary. And you know what's interesting to me is that I had just talked in my last video that they had put out these statements together. Well, we don't know how long they've been broken up. We don't know any of that kind of stuff. I still feel like it's insensitive. And I'm gonna share a little personal story before I get into all of these receipts. The receipts, Whitney, that I have, okay? And that is that when my husband and I started dating, almost 10 years ago, we had been dating for about a month, and we didn't go out a lot when we first started dating to clubs. But one night we were getting ready to go out to a club. Now my ex and I had been together for about 6 years, and I knew he would probably be out because he was going out a lot, which is his right as somebody that's single, somebody that's new. It had been almost a year since we had broken up. And, so on the way down there, I said to Alex, my boyfriend at the time, now my husband, I said, when we go out, if we see him, we run into him, can you just let's not do a lot of PDA? I don't want to throw it into his face. I don't want to hurt his feelings. And he was like, yeah, totally, I understand that. We had parted mutually, okay? Which is important because they're talking about that as well. So he had every right to move on, and so did I. Okay, this was almost a year later. I still didn't want to throw it in his face. So we get there, and we're walking around, and I didn't see him, and I thought, okay, whatever. And we go out on the dance floor, and I'm literally standing on the edge of the dance floor, and he sees me. And he's dancing with somebody. I didn't even know he had been dating anybody. And I see him and he sees me and he looks right at me and literally sticks his tongue down this guy's throat. And I sat there and watched it for a second. I was like, my true thought, you want to know what I really thought was? Oh, you downgraded, okay. So you went clearance shopping. I see what you did. No, but I sat there and I watched it and I was like, even though we were broken up, even though we knew the relationship wasn't supposed to happen and that we had moved on, it still hurt, right? And so I sat there for a second and I pulled a good Jacqueline Hill. And I went up to him and I said, hey, how are you doing? It's really good to see you. I gave him a hug. I introduced him to Alex, and then I said, and who is this? And I shook this guy's hand and I said, it's really nice to meet you. And then, you know, like we had a little small talk for 30 seconds and then I walked away. That's how you do it. That's Jacqueline Hill leaving on his picture this comment that we're just friends, okay? But to be the person to do that, I don't know. It really says to me, it really speaks volumes about who that person is. And I don't know. I believe that hurt people hurt people. Maybe John's hurt. We don't know the background story. We don't know his side of it. We don't even really know Jacqueline's side of it. And I say this in a lot of these relationship videos. Maybe it's none of our business. It really isn't. But I do think that a lot of these people put their relationships out there. I put my relationship out there to be critiqued, you know? So I understand it from both sides to some degree. Now let's get into the receipts, Whitney. So anyway, John Hill posts this video, and then immediately underneath it, Jacqueline posts, John and I are official. Okay, well, the statement that he posts underneath it is, he says, you guys, he says, you guys, Jacqueline, wait. He put a little heart underneath there, and then he says, you guys, Jacqueline and I were not happy, and I would never have had the balls to leave her. I cannot read this. We're founding our happiness right now. Jacqueline and I, still good friends. She's happy for me. And she had put on underneath the picture, spell check please, John and I are officially divorced and have remained friends. I know this is weird for some of you since you're so used to seeing us as a couple, but I'm glad to see him finding happiness and moving on. Now what's interesting to me about this is that she's the one that did it, because it shows who has class in the situation. And I'm sorry, come for me, but it's the truth, okay? It's the truth of the nature all day long. You know, and she puts this underneath there. She doesn't just do it to clear the air. She does it for John. She's still protecting John in the thing. And that was me saying to my husband in the car on the way down there, let's not shove it in his face, right? She knows all of her millions of fans are gonna come rushing over this picture and be like, not on today, John. But what was interesting to me was what other people said underneath there. Now, if you watch the video, okay, and I'm not going to say a whole lot of commentary on there, but what was interesting to me about people watching the video and listening to the video, that they didn't comment or they didn't think, maybe I read through I bet I read through 300 comments, and I never once saw this comment on there, okay? But in the background of the comment is somebody saying, Primo, I need a bag ASAP, and John just laughs. And I'm like, why would you post this on your Instagram? That's at least allegedly what it sounds like he's saying it to me. I played it back like 5 times. Now I'm like, okay, you have made all of this about your life and your issues very public, but this is the video or this is what you choose to have somebody saying in the background. I'm like, I don't understand. I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. And it goes above and beyond. It's very scary for me on that, you know, on that level. That maybe there's more issues going on. I don't know, but that's scary for me. And so if you go in here and you read the comments that people have left, somebody put, Jesus, John, and he comments back to a lot of these people in there. I was really surprised. He's commented back to many, many people. Jesus, John, acting like you don't even give a damn about the woman who helped you out of drug addiction. She gave hella fucks for you, and you throwing this girl around not even a month after going public. Yeah, this has been going on for years for you and Jack, but be sensitive for her. You know how emotional she is. She would never do this to you. Keep it on the DL. And his response to her is, in regards to saying, acting like you don't even give a damn about the woman who helped you out of drug addiction, he says she didn't help. Now, what's interesting to me about that statement, okay, is if somebody said to me, did your husband help you get sober? Well, no, he wasn't around. But let's say if I got sober today as a person in recovery, no, he didn't do the work, okay? That's between me and my higher power. I'm the one that showed up to meetings. I'm the one that chose not to drink and use drugs, okay? With my support network around me. Does my husband support me in recovery? Abso-fucking-lutely, 100%. And for me to say otherwise is really a dig, and it's saying something on a level that we really don't know what happened behind the scenes, you know? And that's where it's like, okay, Jacqueline is like trying to clean up this mess, yet again, that is created for her, and that's not her responsibility. So then if you go in here and and there are a lot of comments defending John too, saying, live your best life, do what you want to do, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Somebody says, y'all are dumb. He's a grown-ass man and has the right to post whatever the hell he wants on his Instagram account, which I totally agree. If you don't like it, then unfollow, but don't harass innocent people who are just trying to be happy and find love. Then he says on here, this is what I read before, you guys, Jaclyn and I were not happy and I would be I can't even read this, have the balls to leave her. We're founding our happiness right now. Jaclyn and I are still good friends. She's happy for me. I don't know, like, I've always had this issue. This is just me, and I know a lot of people feel differently about this. I've known people that have had ex-husbands and wives come and stay at their house, okay? Not me. I'm civil to my exes, but I don't want to know who you're screwing. I don't want to know how good they kiss. I don't need to know all that kind of stuff. I don't need to know about your vacations. I don't need to know any of that kind of stuff, all right? I can see you out and be like, hey, it's great to see you. How are you doing? How's your family? Blah, 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 and move on, right? Which is one of the reasons why when people break up, I always say to them, delete them off of all your social media, not because you hate them, but because it's too painful to see that shit, right? You don't need to call them at 2 o'clock in the morning, hey, I did that, right? I did that. And when I called my ex 3 months later and said, hey, I'd like to, let's work things out. He said, listen, we both know this isn't going to work out. Let me get over you. You need to get over me too. It's hard to get over somebody when they're throwing this shit out there for you to look at. It's hurtful. It's painful. It's tacky, okay? Yes, the man has every right to move on and date somebody else. Absolutely he does. Does it make it appropriate? No, I think it's hurtful. I think it's really hurtful, and I think that any of us out there, if you take them out of the public figure arena of any of these breakups that are going on, I think it's hurtful to see this stuff. Like, I don't know that I don't know. It's just, like, especially after she put this life update video out that I thought was done so well, and they put out joint statements, So let's go in here, and let's look at another comment that came up. Hold on. Oh, right underneath there, somebody responds to him and says, I am so embarrassed on behalf of the girls in the comments that think they have the right to talk shit about either of these people. You do not know them. You do not know how long John and Jaclyn have actually been separated or why it happened. That's absolutely true. You don't know shit. He is allowed to move on with his life and doesn't owe any of you an explanation. This poor girl likely had nothing to do with their breakup, and here y'all are commenting about her looks. That is wrong, okay? Nobody should be saying anything about this girl in this video, although she chose to be in the video with John Hill. I mean, you kind of had to know, like, unless you grew up in a cave, somebody out there knows who she is, so it's going to come out who she is, right? I mean, she kind of knew that. I mean, you don't just put your ass in a video like that and not think, do you not think through things? This poor girl likely had nothing to do with their breakup, but here y'all are commenting about her looks and who you are. Assume she is as a person. Imagine what you could accomplish if you minded your own damn business and put this focus into doing something positive in your own lives. This obsession with complete strangers is honestly just pathetic and ridiculous. If you want to support Jaclyn, I'm all for it, but harassing her ex is not the way. She can stand on her own 2 feet. She always has. That's a very true statement. And then somebody said, maybe wait until the divorce is done. I'm just a fan of Jaclyn. I don't know about her personal life. She goes on. And then underneath here, somebody says, Jaclyn commented saying they're officially divorced, and she is happy that John is finding happiness. No need to defend her and be mean when she doesn't need it. And then somebody underneath here says, the women who are attacking this girl are horrible. We shouldn't be breaking down other women. Thank you for this comment. One of the things that breaks my heart in society is when women attack women. I do not understand it, right? It's very similar to the LGBTQIA plus community. When people fight with each other in the community, it's like, if we can't come together as a community, how the hell do you expect anybody to respect us on the outside? Do I think there are shady women out there? I'm a gay man. Most of my friends are girls. Hell yes. I've met my fair share of shady girls. I've met my fair share of shady guys too, okay? I don't think it's a gender issue. I think it's a person issue. So, but I don't think that we have to attack anybody with all of this. And I don't think that that would necessarily make, Jaclyn feel better about herself. I don't know. It would... if in all honesty, I might feel a little bit good. I don't know that I would like that they were attacking somebody else. But I sure did stand on that side of that dance floor, and I said, oh, you downgraded. I see, okay. Clearance shopping these days, aren't you? Could have had this one. No, but you know what I mean? We've all had that moment where we want to feel a little bit better about ourselves. Okay, and so then it goes on, and somebody said to him, you won't tag her, though, and he responded and said, she didn't want to be. Some people want a normal life. And, you know, I've wondered that for a while with John. You know, a lot comes along with this public persona of being in the spotlight when you're married or dating one of these, you know, beauty influencers or whatever. It's like, you know, Nathan, Jeffree Star's boyfriend, he kind of plays a low key. Like, he's not, like, he's in pictures with Jeffree and he's done some videos with him and stuff like that, but he really kind of does his own thing, you know? I went to his Twitter or his Instagram one day to see who he followed, and it's very interesting. He follows, like, people that are his friends. Like, he ain't following beauty influencers. He don't give a shit, okay? He just don't. And I kind of love him for that, you know? That he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm my own person. The whole thing makes me very, very sad. When you're with somebody, not just with them, but married, let alone, you know, 8 or 9 years, I mean, that's a huge commitment. It's a huge commitment when you date somebody for 1 or 2 years. But when you throw marriage and property and all this kind of stuff into it, and then you break up and it's public, that's hard enough. But to then add salt to the wound, I really believe this. I really believe that even if John had posted this 6 months down the road, people still would have said it's too soon. John couldn't have done anything right in the situation, which is why Jacqueline came in and tried to rescue him from it. It speaks volumes about who Jacqueline is as a person. It says that this is how I care about this man, that even though we're not together anymore, I really do want him to be happy. You know, and we don't know why they broke up. We don't. But I do think that, like I say on a regular basis, it's important for us to remain teachable, to live our lives with kindness and compassion and not put hurt out there into the world, not hurt other people. We don't know what happened with this situation. We don't know the conditions of it, you know? All of it makes me very, very sad. This man's recovery is up in, I mean, that's scary. Going through any kind of huge issue as a person in recovery is very, very scary, you know? And so all of this is out there, and they're having to live this because of personal choices they made that have to be played out in the public arena, because that is their lives. And yes, they chose that. That doesn't mean it's not difficult. And I wish that we would start treating some of these people a little bit kinder, a little bit more loving on a daily basis, and realize that at the end of the day, they are just human beings trying to get by like the rest of us. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.